Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the National Museum of the American Indian. You are here on a wonderful day, and I'm not even just talking about our great weather after yesterday. We are very fortunate to have a group of students here from the St. Labre Indian School in Montana. They are here today. They're going to share their music, their dance, their stories, and their culture, and we are very honored to have them here. And I would like to turn the mic over to Mr. Curtis Yarlett, who will guide us this afternoon. Is Curtis here?
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. This is good. Hey, Shodaja. Welcome. How are you today? We're awful glad to see you. A nice crowd here today, and we're happy. We're honored to be back here for another time here at the National Museum of the American Indian. We were here 2 years ago, and we've got 10 of our students here with us today, and we've also got some staff members who are present. We've got Mr. Benji Headswift, who is the instructor for the drum group here. We've got our dancers here who will show you the various styles of dance that are practiced out there in Montana amongst the Northern Cheyenne and the Crow Indian tribes. We also have our Grandma Nellie, as we call her, and she's the grandmother of the school, and Christine Medicine Bowl, who's here. We've also got Tony Ucita and Marge Rath, who are staff members at St. Labre. I'll have Mr. Headswift introduce the dancers when he comes up here. But St. Labre is a private school located in Ashland, Montana, which is in the far southeastern part of Montana on the eastern edge of the Northern Cheyenne Reservation. We operate 3 schools on the Northern Cheyenne and Crow Indian reservations. We have a total of about 750 students, and we prepare our students for a college education. However, we believe in a well-rounded education, and we believe that the well-rounded education also includes instruction in the cultures and languages of our students' tribes. And so we have a drum group. We also teach the Northern Cheyenne and Crow languages at our schools, and we do a lot of other things such as incorporating the works of Native American authors into our curriculum. So without further ado, I'm going to hand the mic over to Mr. Benji Headswift, who will take it from here.
Thank you, Curtis. Thank you for allowing us to come back. It's a privilege, it's an honor to be here to represent a few of the tribes from Montana, specifically the Crow and Northern Cheyenne. What we're gonna go on ahead and do is present to the dancers to you through a grand entry style of dance where we allow the dancers to come in a circle and sort of parade like how they do with any other kind of grand entry that you could think of, specifically with horse races, the same way they do that. And we'll get into a little bit more detail about that later on with some of the research that I came across. So we'll sing a grand entry style song, allowing all the dancers to come in and just kind of give you an eyeful real quick. Alrighty. So what we're gonna do now is go on ahead and bring them out individually, just to kind of give you guys a chance to observe them as individual dancers. With these style of dances that we have throughout the Great Plains, specifically the Crow and Northern Cheyenne Indians, our stories and representations of these style of dance originate from, our tribes. Not all of them. The stories I'm saying of how these came about, our tribes that I'm going to share today. So today I want to go on ahead and bring out the woman's crow style. Today we're very privileged and honored to have the Miss Crow Nation. If any of you made it to Montana, the Crows, they have a powwow in August called the Crow Fair, and that's the teepee capital of the world. If you want to see a whole lot of teepees and meet one of the most friendliest and generous tribes, August, second weekend in August, third weekend in August is when they have the Crow Fair, and that spectacle of all those teepees within that Crow Valley is awesome. So at this time, we'll go on ahead and call upon Cecily Little Owl. She's the current Miss Crow Nation. It's a title that is, I believe they take 3 days out of the week to decide who gets this title. The style of dress that she's wearing is an outtooth dress at this time. It's a common courtesy to let Curtis announce for this. So Curtis, if you could, come on up and...
The elk tooth dress is in a particular style to the Crow Nation. You'll notice the beadwork, the geometric design, those are also distinctive to the Crow Nation. With many of the Plains Indians tribes, particularly those that hunted elk, having the elk tooth dress and the number of teeth on the dress itself was an indicator of the wealth and also the hunting ability of the men in the household. Because each elk only has 2 of those teeth that you see on the dress, and so each dress can have about 500 teeth on there, and you can just imagine how many elk that takes to completely outfit a dress. And so part of that is in showing the ability of the men in the family to hunt, but also it's a indication of the love that the men have for the women in their family, the wives and the daughters. So with that, I'll hand it over to Benji.
Thank you, Curtis. So you can kind of see where we're going with this explanation of the styles and dance. At this time, we're going to go on ahead and sing her a double beat style. It's specifically sung for this style of dance, men or woman crow style. So we're going ahead and sing her a double beat song at this time. All right, thank you, Seth Lee. Once again, Seth Lee Little Owl. At this time, I'm bringing forward Kagan Bear comes out. She is wearing a jingle dress, style dress, category jingle dress dance. This style of dance comes from the Anishinaabe, Ojibwe tribes. There's currently 3 stories out there that vary this and explain this style of dance. It's a healing dance that was given to them throughout visions, dreams, as the stories were told to me, or by chance, caught them by sound of ear. Throughout Powwow country, they do a lot of explaining of how this dance is meant to heal. I'd go into detail, but I'd probably end up using my whole half hour I have, so I'll just share that much information with you guys. This style of dance is pretty unique. They have a certain song. It's called out in the plains, we call it a sidestep. For the tribes, but the specific tribes, they call it a round dance. And then it kind of gets technical after that. We have round dances at home that are called sidesteps over here, so it's kind of kind of vice versa. But we're gonna sing her a Ojibwe style round dance. That's her second choice of song. Next dancer I'm going to bring forward is Kaya Ontiveros. She is wearing a fancy shawl. The story that I heard recently was this style of dance came about when 2 traditional dancers were at a powwow. Women's traditional dancers were at a powwow, and the powwow committee and the people that were hosting the powwow couldn't figure out a winner. So they took some time and took a break, drank some coffee, trying to figure out how to break this tie. And one of the ladies decided to pick up a shawl that she was dancing with and threw it over her shoulders, just like how Kaya has her shawl on now. And started dancing, started moving her feet in a fancy way. So the other one saw her do that, grabbed her shawl right away. Sure enough, they were both out there cutting up the rug pretty good. You know, so that's how this style of dance came about. And eventually a winner was picked because the winner got picked by how fast she moved, how fast her feet were moving, and, you know, how fancy she got. So we're gonna go on ahead and sing a song for Kaya and let her go on ahead and dance that style. All right, what do you guys think so far? I'd like to take this time and introduce my singers. I have Chaos Fisher. If you could stand up, please. Wave to the crowd. Tyler Small, Bowen Simpson, and Michael Frazier. I've been working with these students since some of them been third graders, and two of them are fifth graders now. One's an eighth grader and one's a sixth grader. You know, and it's part of what St. Labre is doing now, is trying to preserve our culture by allowing me to teach Native American singing, teach these kids the songs that they're singing today, along with other songs that we have as a tribe for the Northern Cheyenne, court dance songs, memorial songs, honor songs, veteran songs, flag songs, you know, stuff like that, keeping it the way I was taught by my grandfathers that passed their information to me through oral tradition. And that's what makes it so sacred, is because I teach the same way that my grandfathers taught me at the drum, with no sheet music, nothing like that I can say, all right, I'll just come back later and learn it. No, when they sang a song for me and they told me to learn it, I had to learn it right there. I had to pay attention. So that's the way that these guys are learning. And I'm glad to say and happy to say that St. Labre is helping our tribes, both the Crow and Northern Cheyenne, by allowing us to have this class, Native American singing. So a big round of applause for St. Labre. So at this time, I'm going to bring forward one of our dancers. His name is Ruben Littlehead Jr. He's currently the champion of the Junior Boys Traditional at the Gathering of Nations powwow. Some of you guys might know that powwow. He's currently the reigning champion for his category, Junior Boys Traditional. We're gonna sing him a sneak up song. The sneak up song is a representation of him telling a story of how he snuck up on his enemy, or how he snuck up on an animal he was hunting. So we'll go on ahead and sing that song for him right now. This next style of dance that I'm bringing out, his name is Georgie Little Eagle. He is wearing Cheyenne grass dance outfit. The story that I was told, and don't get me wrong, there's plenty of tribes out there that have different variations of this style of dance, just like with the rest of them, originating from their tribe specifically. This story that was told to me that I'm about to share with you is told to me through my grandfather, James Red Cloud. Out of curiosity, you know, I asked him what the grass dance was, where it came from. And he told me that before the Cheyennes would have ceremony called Sundance, they would have this style of dancer come out and dance down the grass where we'd have our annual Sundance ceremony. So that's the way that this style of dance came about, through my grandfather telling me that story. So, you know, it's just kind of the way each tribe represents themselves through the style of dance. Any of these dances, you know, the origins are just like everybody else's origins. You know, each family history has their own way of telling it. So with that, we're gonna sing him a slow song that would represent him dancing down the grass. The next dancer I'm bringing out is Sonny Littlehead. He is our fancy dancer, our men's fancy dancer, fancy feather dancer. He too is also a champion dancer. He's making his way up into the adult category and is one of the, if not the top one for the teen category throughout Indian country, powwows. This style of dance was kind of, let's see, how would I put it? Wild Bill had this time when he was taking Indians around and doing these shows. And during these shows, the Indians would compete for money, prize money. And he wanted the dancers to be faster and more fancier. So as a tribesman, as anybody would want to do, you know, to make money for their families, this style of dance originated from that. They put on 2 bustles to make themselves look fancier. They put on bigger bows. They put on a little bit more outfit, a little bit more than what Ruben's wearing, you know, the traditional outfit. It's just a shift from the traditional outfit to the fancy 2 bustles. I believe there's actually some YouTube footage out right now from the 1950s that kind of give you an idea of how that style of dance looked back then in the 50s, this style of dance with the fancy dance. Now this is the showstopper. This is the one that everybody waits for at every powwow, and it's a privilege and a treat to present men's fancy dance to you. So there's usually a friendly competition that happens between the drum and the dancer, and unfortunately, the drum lost. As he had every stop that we had. That's a friendly competition that the drummers and the dancers have as well. At this time, I'd like to have my ground Nelly come out. This was the original dance that woman had before we started out with fancy shawl, jingle dress, and whatever else they might have with the Great Plains. This attire that she's wearing, along with the crow style attire, are some of the dresses that they would wear throughout the day, or in some cases when the men would come back from a war party or, you know, village raid or whatever they may. the case may be, this is the kind of stuff that they would wear to honor their husbands, their sons, their uncles, nephews, whatever the case may be, depending on how the parade came through for the Cheyenne, along with the Sioux. Woman's traditional will be singing her a song so she can dance, and notice the pride that she has, that because she's dancing not just for herself, she's dancing for her grandmothers that have gone on before her, and she's dancing for her grandkids so that they have strength to carry on this way as well. One of the things that I always kind of tend to forget to explain about is our drum. You know, our drum is sacred to us throughout Indian country. It's the giver of life. It's the giver of hope. You know, I have a grandfather that's sick at home right now. And one of his greatest teachings that he gave me is to always sing. Sing, Benji. Sing for those that are sick. Even if it's for 1 second that they hear you, it may last a lifetime. of healing spiritually. You know, that's one of the greatest teachings that I've ever had. You know, I'd like to dedicate today to him. So if it wasn't for him and my other grandfathers that have fallen, I wouldn't know this way about the drum. You know, this drum was given to us through Sundance ways to represent thunder throughout the Cheyenne. You know, every time that drum goes boom, brings life to you, brings energy. You know, and that's one of the teachings that he's given me. So at this time, I'd like to invite my dancers back out. We're going to share what we call a friendship dance. They're going to go out and get a couple of you throughout the crowd, and we're going to round dance. We're going to round dance. So, Ruben, Sonny, Georgie, Kaya, Sethalie, Kagan, go on ahead and go out and pick out two dancers, if you will. Some of you, if you want, go on ahead and come on out. This round dance is where we join hands and round dance clockwise as a friendship dance. The Cree tribes, they do this throughout the winter time with hand drums. Well, we'll do it with our big drum. Kids, you guys can come on out if you want to. Actually, everybody, if we can fit everybody on the dance floor, I'd be more than happy to do that. You're more than welcome to join. Don't be shy. If you guys from the top want to come down, feel free to go on ahead and do that too. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming out and attending our show today. I hope it was educational and informational. The students will be here available for pictures if you want to take pictures of them, with them. We will be available. Thank you for coming out today. God bless.